So Griffin, who was 3 years old, he was going to one of the VSOC childcare programs down near Urban Fair. And I walked in one day, and they took me aside. The early childhood educators took me aside and said, "Kim, there was an incident today with Griffin." And at first I'm like, "Oh no!" And he scratched one of his friends' faces.
How old was he at the time?
3. He was 3 years old, and they said, and I'm like, "Oh no!" So first I think, "Oh my goodness, I study empathy, and what's my child doing?" And then second, I better cut his nails. I don't know if anybody has 3 years. You have to be on top of those nails.
It's all about you, Kim.
I know. So it's like I should. Anyway, so I said, "Oh, do I need to do anything?" I was kind of, a bit upset. She goes, "No, we took care of it. I just wanted you to be aware of it." And I said, "Well, what happened?" And she said, "Well, he and his friend were playing, and I think it was like playing with Duplo or Lego, and Griffin wanted something. His friend wouldn't give it to him, and he went to go grab it, and he scratched his friend's face, and then his friend was crying, and then Griffin was upset, and they went there. The early childhood educator came and said, "Okay, you guys, Griffin, how do you think your friend is feeling right now?" And he says sad, and then they together thought, Griffin, what can you do to help your friend feel better? And they sort of talked about it, and they came up. I don't remember who came up with the idea of getting a cold washcloth and holding it on the friend's face where the scratch was. So Griffin and the early childhood educator went over to the sink, got the washcloth, ran it under the cold water, make sure it was wrung out, and then they took 2 little chairs facing each other. And Griffin then sat in this one and held the cold washcloth on his friend's face till he felt better. And then they went off and played. Now think about it. It's called restorative practices, by the way, or restitution, or however you want. Think of how we typically deal with that situation, or maybe not typically. Maybe the default sometimes is, Griffin, you're in the timeout. Go and sit in the corner. You can't be. And the friend, here, you can have all the Duplo or whatever. Instead of using it as an opportunity to learn a situation. So what we find from the research, when parents or caregivers provide those opportunities where children get to think about the other person's perspective, think about what could they do next time, think about how they could help restore it, actually helps them later on in life internalize that. So they no longer need to have the adult there fixing it. They actually learn to do it for themselves, and how important it is early on.